going to be my quarter 2 reaction vlog type video. I don't know what you want to call it. But basically I did one of these after my first quarter at FIDM LA, and I'll link that in the description box if you want to go and watch it. It's basically where I talked about kind of like moving in and the student housing and my roommates and my first quarter of classes and all that stuff and how I adjusted to my first like 10 weeks of college. So I did that video, and after I did that, a ton of you guys said you wanted to see a video after I finished my second quarter, so that is what I'm going to be doing today. So how I'm going to do this video is the first part I'm going to kind of talk about stuff like I did in the last video, and then since I feel like I don't have as much to talk about as I did in my last video, I am going to do a Q&A for the second half of the video and go on Twitter and answer some of you guys' questions. I'm just going to go ahead and get started. So basically, just to familiarize you if you are not aware, I go to FIDM LA, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, and I just finished my second quarter. The school runs on a quarter system, so you do 4 quarters pretty much in a year, and you go year round, and you have breaks in between those quarters. Each quarter is 10 weeks. So I have officially completed 20 weeks, 2 quarters of school, which is actually a third of my entire program, because you can finish the beauty industry merchandising and marketing program in 6 quarters. So I'm actually a third of the way done with college, which is the weirdest thing ever. First I'll talk about like my changes and adjustments, and then I will talk about school. Pretty much, as you guys know, I moved out of student housing at the end of last quarter for many reasons. I've talked about them so many times, and I moved into an apartment with my same roommates, Emily and Julian, and that was just like such a great decision for us. So much more room. We love it there. We love it so much, and it's just like, it's so much better than what we were getting and paying for student housing. It was so freaking overpriced for that student housing. So first of all, if I could give you one piece of advice, it would be to like look into prices of apartments, and if you have like additional housing options available to you besides student housing, look into those before you look into student housing, because student housing can be awesome for some people, but they can also, your school can jack up the price and make you feel like you have to do student housing when there's tons of other options available. So definitely just make sure you like check in on that. So anyway, we moved into our apartment and we love it. We all have our own rooms, and that's basically like the only thing that changed. Yeah, so pretty much I still, you know, have my same major. I just got new classes, and this quarter ran from the beginning of October to the end of December. So we got out like a little bit before Christmas. It was later than most colleges get out, but it wasn't really that annoying because we still have a lot of time off. Like, I actually, from when I finished my last class, I had 4 straight weeks off for the time I finished that class to like the time I'm gonna have my next class. So that was actually a really, really long time. I was thinking it was only going to be like 2.5, 3 weeks, but it was 4 weeks, which is really a great amount of time. So then as for the classes I took this quarter, basically how it is at FIDM is actually, you know, it's very flexible. You're supposed to take about 5 classes per quarter, but you could do, I think you could do as little as 3, and I think you can do as many as like 6 or 7. I'm not really positive, just depending on what you want to do. Most people do like 4 or 5. So I started off with 5 classes, and they were, let's see, like I honestly haven't thought about school in so long, so let's see if I can even remember my classes. They were computer rendering, college math, technology for business applications, effective speaking, and trends past, present, and future. So I ended up keeping 4 of those classes and dropping computer rendering. I tried it for like I think 2 or 3 weeks, and I honestly just, the teacher went really fast and I could not keep up, and it was just like, it was a struggle for me. So I was like, you know what, like I tried to move to a different teacher, but it was already all booked, and only, yeah, it was like all booked up. I could only be in that class with that one teacher, and I didn't like her teaching style. She went way too fast for me. She wasn't like a bad teacher, but I just didn't like how fast she went because I'd never done that software before. So me and Julian actually decided to drop that class. Emily stuck with it, so she got that over with, but me and Julian dropped that class, and we are going to be trying to take that next semester with another instructor who apparently goes a lot slower and is like easier with it. So I think that'll be a lot better, and I have high hopes because This quarter I actually signed up and like made sure I looked up all my teachers on Rate My Professor or something, and I got like the best teachers, the best class times for me personally, and I have 4-day weekends, and I just can't even tell you how excited I am about that. So I finally got my life together with my schedule. I had 2 8:30 classes this quarter, and it was not for me. That is something I discovered. I mean, that is totally something that might work for so many people, but I think you guys know I'm not a morning person, and it was so hard for me to wake up, especially the days where I had my effective speaking class, because Emily and Julian were in that class, so I had to get up like on my own and go by myself, and I was late a lot. I missed a lot of the classes because I honestly am just not good at waking up that early, and I don't even hear my alarms sometimes. So I discovered that 8:30 classes were not for me unless I absolutely had to do it. So I don't have any 8:30 classes this quarter, which is great. So that was a learning experience. But basically, so I took those other 4 classes, and how do I feel about the classes? College math was very easy, liked my teacher. We are going to have harder math next quarter. I think it's called merchandise math, and that's supposed to be a lot harder. College math was like pretty basic, and like it was so easy, at least like for me. It was very simple, but I mean, whatever, like we had to take it. And then trends, past, present, and future. I honestly wish I could tell you that I learned more from that class than I did. It was basically just going every week, and we wouldn't even learn anything. The teacher would just tell it, we would just do presentations, because every week or every 2 weeks we had a project due, and we would just do presentations, and then the teacher would tell us about our next project, and we would maybe break into groups and like do a mini little thing like leading up to the next project, and then do the next project, and then come back next week and present and do it again. So I honestly didn't learn very much in that class, but I did like enjoy the class. It was cool to have like that was like my first class that was kind of like something other than just like basic general ed stuff, so it was cool to have. And I showed a lot of those projects that I did on my vlog. I mean, this is my vlog channel. On this channel, it was just a lot of like PowerPoints and like forecasting trends, or just like saying what trends you like that are happening at the moment, and stuff like that, or past trends. It was just obviously trends, past, present, or future was the name of the course. But I do wish I had learned more in that class, but it wasn't like a bad class. I just feel like I didn't learn that much, but yeah, what can you do? And then my class, Technology for Business Applications, has a really complicated name, but it's basically just code for learning how to do PowerPoint, Microsoft Word, Excel, and a little bit of Photoshop. I had some difficulty with Photoshop. That is not easy. Like, I could not do Photoshop very well. It was cool though. I learned like how to do kind of cool stuff on like Word and PowerPoint, and I learned how to like kind of use Excel. So that's, I actually do feel like I kind of learned stuff in that class, although it was pretty easy, but like I still learned stuff. So I feel like that's like a good class when it's like easy-ish, but you learned. And then effective speaking was, I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I feel like it was a class that I like needed to take. It definitely did help me a little bit. I don't have like a fear of public speaking, but I don't really like love it. Like I would get nervous before I was about to go, but I feel like I did pretty good in the class. I feel like having like, I don't know why, I feel like having a YouTube channel and like talking to a camera, even though I'm not talking to people, just like knowing how to publicly kind of talk helped me in that class. So I did pretty decently in that class. I think I talked about pretty much all my classes. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really that like stood out to me. It'll be interesting to do these videos when I actually have my beauty classes, which I am starting next summer. So just a little update before I get into the Q&A. I have one more quarter, and then I have a whole quarter off. I think I talked about this in my last vlog. Because of when I decided to start school and because of my specific major, I have to take the spring quarter off. So I have the winter quarter, which goes until the end of March, and then from the end of March to like mid-July, I have all of that time off from school, which like other majors, if you were in other majors, like everyone else is going, they don't offer beauty classes starting until summer or winter. So I will be starting them in summer, which the summer quarter starts in July. I'm honestly really excited about that because I get to actually have like a kind of summer or like a spring off, and I'm just very excited. So I plan on, me and all my roommates plan on like coming home. So Emily and Julian are gonna go home to New York, and I'm gonna go home to here, Georgia, where I am now, and just kind of like see. I don't know exactly what I'm doing in that time. I know for a month that I will be traveling in Europe, but other than that, I'm just gonna probably be like chilling, and I probably will have to go back for some stuff to LA, but I think it makes more sense to live here for that time and then head back when we're starting school again. So yeah, nothing's like completely concrete for sure, but that's like the plan for now. So now I'm gonna tweet out asking for you guys' questions, because I feel like that's like the main stuff I wanted to talk about, and I really want to find out what you guys want to know.